Greetings, Zahner here with Stolendroids Media, and we are here with novelist, I like that word, novelist.
I like novelist too. It looks really good in a text form.
Dave Butler. Thanks, Dave, for joining us.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
Now, tell us a little bit about some of your works that you've got coming out. You just rattled off a whole bunch to me. I want you to say it all again.
Okay, let me tell you a few things. So first of all, I've got a series. I'm going to bring this book cover up into frame.
Okay,
How's that look?
Let's pimp it hard.
This is book one. It's called Creshling. It's in a series called The Booza System. It's a hard-ish science fiction story. It's a dystopia. It's about a civilization in the distant future that initiates its youth into adulthood by forcing them to commit murder. It's a story about control by ritual, control by guilt, and control by violence. This is potentially a young adult story, although really it's fitting for adult readers as well. It's actually a brutally savage story. So part of the main theme of the story is control, and one of the ways that the Booza system exercises control over its own people and people around it is by monopolizing violence. And one way it does that is by using violence weapons that are technologically very advanced and very hard to control. They require training. They're monofilament weapons. You're talking about bolas and whips that are one filament thick. So they'll slice through anything. They'll slice through stone. They'll slice through human flesh like a hot knife through butter. But if you're unskilled in the use of one, you pick up a bola to try and use it, you're as likely to hit yourself as anybody else, right? So one, this is a way that the system exercises control. Two, it means the book is extremely violent. So there's combat in it, but there's no I punch you, you punch me. No, if you get hit with a monofilament whip, you lost a limb, right? Or you're chopped into 4 pieces and you fall down dead. So that's a trilogy. Book 2 is called Urbane. It is coming out now. Again, this is a story about a civilization that initiates its youth into adulthood by forcing them to commit murder, and about what happens when you refuse and what is the price you pay for failing to accept the guilt your civilization wants you to bear.
I'm guessing it's not a happy story.
If you are the kind of person who picks up a book hoping to read the adventures of the same characters over a set of 10 or 15 novels, right? Hardy Boys or The Wheel of Time. This is not like that. Characters that you like will be dead before the book is over. A lot of them, right? This is about violence and control.
I like that though, because I've read books where by the end of the book I wanted the main characters to die because they sucked.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to give away who dies exactly, but I will say that some of my beta readers for book 2 were really angry with me by the time they got to the end of it.
I think you're doing your job well then.
Yeah.
Now, what else do you have?
Well, I got various things. So I'm going to trying not to get out of frame here, but I've got a series called Rock Band Fights Evil that follows the ongoing adventures of a rock and roll band of damned musicians whose plan to become undamned is to steal a fragment of Satan's hoof and blackmail him with it. Now the first 4 have been out for a year. 5, 6, and 7 are coming out imminently, and Wordfire Press has just put out the first omnibus. Band on the Run is the first 3 Rock Band Fights Evil novellas in a single volume. Very happy about this. Very excited about Carter Reed's cover art. Actually, is very good. So that's fun, action-packed adventure fiction. Something else I've got to tell you about, but not to show you, is called The Kidnap Plot. Now, I know I may already have lost some of the audience who are thinking I'm super violent and dark. The Kidnap Plot is a kid's story. You go on Amazon. It's available right now for pre-order. It's coming out from Random House from Knopf. And it is a steampunk fantasy story about a boy whose father is kidnapped, and as the boy goes to rescue his father, he learns horrible truths about his father and about himself. And that's coming out in June, just 3 months here. Book 2 a year after, and I'm writing book 3 right now, actually.
Nice. Now, you're an attorney. How does an attorney go from the courtroom or the office, in some cases, to novelist?
That is a really good question. So a wonderful thing happened to me in 2010, which is that I got fired. And in the aftermath of getting fired, I started asking myself questions about what I wanted to do, right? As opposed to what was the next step, what was the thing in front of me in the path that I just had to do, because I've been doing that since college. I graduated college. I didn't know what to do. I went to law school. Oh, then I had to get a big firm job, and I did what the big firm told me, and I kept doing that. And then one day, the job went away, and I had a little money, and I said I can do whatever I want. And so I started writing. And I have a few friends in particular who inspired me. Eric Patton, E.J. Patton, the Simon & Schuster author, who just reminded me, said, "Hey, Dave, you always wanted to be a writer as a kid. You should do it now." That was about 6 years ago. So the time that passes between sort of those initial conversations and when my big press book comes out will be about exactly 6 years.
Nice. Well, congratulations on your success. A couple more questions for you.
Yep.
Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice opens this weekend.
Yes.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Why?
Well, Superman is Jesus, right? So, it's cool to like Jesus, but it's hard to empathize with Jesus because, nothing's ever going to stop him, right? You never read the gospel going, man, what's going to happen? Is Jesus going to be defeated? No, he's not defeated. Why? Because he's Jesus, right? So the whole Superman's only interesting if you make up reasons why he can suddenly be vulnerable. So he's boring. Yes. And Batman's not. Batman's a guy. Now, he's like a crazy guy, right? But he's fundamentally like Doc Savage. Maybe a human really couldn't be that good, but he is an image of a normal human driven to perfect himself in pursuit of a very flawed and interesting ideal.
You know, I may be wearing a Superman shirt.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Now, where can people find your stuff? Where can they follow you? Where can they find out what you're working on?
So you can come to my website, davidjohnbutler.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm pretty active. All of my books, including my future not yet out releases, are on Amazon. But there are links to them all on my website. That's the easiest place to find me, davidjohnbutler.com.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you for your time, Dave. We appreciate it. And best of luck to you going forward.
Thank you, Zoner.
And that is it. Go buy Dave's stuff. They're great. Even though I haven't read them, they're great.